Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Super Bowl podcast, episode number 49. We're back in the studio. David Arnold, Harper Houck. I'm Braden Dorman alongside me. And we've got Lauren Knox in the house, from the women's soccer team, our first ever women's soccer player.
Big time.
I've gotten to witness Lauren's growth in her faith journey. She's also, battled some injuries over the last couple of years, and she's now starting to get to her tip-top shape. But I think what we know about Lauren is she's just so bubbly, just so excited about what the Lord is doing in her life, and she's not afraid to share it, which is why it was easy for us to want you to come on and talk about your story. So welcome to the show, Lauren Knox.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So we've got a couple segments to start the show. We're going to make some Super Bowl predictions, and then we're also going to do a quick soccer segment, make you make some tough decisions, and then we're excited to hear about your story. So let's start with the NFL. I mean, I'm a Seahawks fan. I think people that have watched this for a while know that. So I'm just going to go out of my way, say I think they've got this, even though it feels like this week against the Rams is the Super Bowl.
You can't vote. We can vote today.
Yeah, I'll let you guys vote.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, a little
Because you're biased.
over there.
Yeah.
Harper,
His team's the only one surviving. So.
Harper, I want to hear you first. What do you think?
So wait, we're just ripping it?
Yeah,
we're going to NFC Championship first?
Are we doing champion? Are we doing a Super Bowl matchup?
No,
just straight up.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl? There are 4 teams left.
Okay.
Oh.
That maybe will age better, hopefully, than doing the championship game. So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say what I want to happen and then what I think is gonna happen. Okay.
So he's
I'm gonna make this quick. I'm gonna make this quick. What I want to happen, and Dorman's not gonna like this, is I want the Rams to win. I love Matt Stafford. I think he's the most likable guy left on any of the rosters. Everyone loves this guy. I think his story's super cool. Holding it down in the trench of Detroit for so many years, and then coming over in Los Angeles and
he won one already.
Success. Yes.
Look at Harper.
Why has he got to win another one?
Georgia player he's pulling for.
Hey, don't even do that. Okay. I want that to happen. What I actually think is going to happen is the Seahawks. So does that mend that?
No.
Are we good? I think they have the best defense remaining, and I think things are just clicking for them right now. I think they're going to take care of business. NFC Championship, and I think...
You don't think Sam Darnold would be a cooler story?
I think the NFC... I'm just going to keep going. I think the NFC is stronger than the AFC this year, and so whoever wins the NFC Championship is going to win it all. I want the Rams, but I actually think it's going to be the Seahawks. Are we good?
Sure.
We're chilling?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, Lauren?
Okay, I think after some thought into this, I really think, honestly, I got to go to the Seahawks because I think just like the fire they have about them, like just the story, they want it. And I think, the other teams, they do too, but I think out of the 4, they probably want it the most, in my opinion.
You're right.
But, yeah.
You're right.
So I got to go with them.
Good choice.
Yeah, these are some great picks. I mean, quite honestly, Seattle's been playing incredible football down the stretch. Lost Charbonnet, but Kenneth Walker picked up the load heavily. I think we're going a clean sweep here. I got the Seahawks, and I got them beating the Patriots by running the ball at the 1-yard line. They're going to run the ball in, Kenneth Walker, and it's going to be the greatest revenge moment ever
clean
in
history.
Sports.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to clean the slate.
Oh, man.
I mean...
Play a clip of that, Houston. Yeah.
I mean, no, not that
Don't
one.
play that clip.
Play a clip, Houston.
Play the clip after the Super Bowl when Kenneth Walker's celebrating in the end zone with 5 seconds left. All right.
As a Seahawks fan, I'll say quickly, if we could knock out the Niners, our rival, knock out the Rams, our rival, and then get revenge for losing to the Patriots all those years ago, it wouldn't be sweeter than that, but it's going to be tough to.
I mean, that's
pull that
about
off.
as good as it gets.
Yeah. So we'll see. But all right. That probably is not good for the Seahawks that 3 of us just picked them. Usually doesn't work out too well.
Their Bears just got eliminated.
Yeah, okay.
Their Bears.
It's a complicated thing, but hey, heck of a game from Caleb. Heck of a throw. How about that? He's got like the 3 best throws in the playoffs. I'll just go ahead and say that. Anybody watching, you'd understand. But yeah.
Well,
and I will
Lauren's
say,
a real.
what a season.
You have a real big.
I think that people count us out or, throw shade or whatever. But it's like they stuck it true and they fought for everything they had. They fought down to every single minute. Yep. Caleb was keeping them in the game. I mean, the defense and everybody was doing great, Ben Johnson, awesome. Just,
Huge.
Overall, great.
Awesome.
So I'm proud of them for the season they had, and they're just going to build off of it.
And you know what? I actually value your opinion as a Bears fan because you're a loyal Bears fan.
A real one.
And the other one on that side of the table, I'm not even going to make eye contact with.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that one, he's bandwagon.
You guys know how it is. I called Caleb Williams to be the greatest quarterback of all time. So nobody can say now that the Bears are good, I'm
Cut
a
to that
bandwagon. quote unquote, I'm a bandwagon now that the Bears are good. Actually, I called that before Caleb was even drafted. So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's coming together. I was hoping for a Super Bowl year 2 to get, kind of on track with the Mahomes, the Brady, all these guys. But he'll rattle off 4 or 5 in the next 8 years, and we'll be all right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Those are our predictions. Now, David, I want you to start us off here in this Would You Rather segment here. All soccer related or football, wherever you're watching.
All across the world.
Sometimes we have random viewers from just the most random countries ever, which is cool.
Shout out to y'all. You know who you are. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and get rolling here. So kind of a this or that. Lauren, I got a question for you. So I would say, here's my question. All right. Would you rather play a soccer game, say just a big game, right? Conference game. A match. Sorry. Sorry, again, everybody watching. Okay. Would you rather play a match in 25-degree weather or 90-degree weather, and why?
Well, I think I got to go with 90 degrees right off the bat. I mean, I did choose GCU, which, we have played games in 90 degrees. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, I think, being able to feel, all of your, feel your toes. Like in the cold, you can't feel your toes. Yeah. I'd rather feel it and, feel the heat than not be able to feel it. And I think also, for us specifically, GCU, we train in that from July. So, we are in that. And then it just kind of you get used to it, pretty quickly. I don't know if you ever really get used to, 10 degrees. The cold, but maybe, I don't know. But
do you think the majority of players would agree with you, or is it because you have that training and that experience that makes 90 a little bit more manageable?
I think it depends on the person, honestly. I've talked to some teammates from club soccer that are I'd rather play in the cold, I'd rather play in the snow, I'd rather play in the heat. So you get all different opinions, sure. But yeah.
Can you give us a quick? What's the coldest game you played in? The hottest game you played? Do you remember the temperatures off the top of your head?
I don't remember the temperatures of the coldest, but I do remember vividly we were playing and it was snowing, full snow down. And I think most of the girls, I know me for myself left and I had hypothermia. I was just so cold, pink. And that was in Chicago. So it was, pretty legit. And then hottest, I don't know what the temperature is again. I want to say probably 90s. It had to have been here. That was but I don't know.
That seems clean.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of Sunday day games that are just
oh yeah, the afternoon.
Yep.
Probably close to 100.
Right.
On the pitch, especially.
Probably, yeah.
How about spring ball though? The weather here now. I mean,
it's perfect.
It is warm during the fall, but once you get to October, there's no better place to play. I mean, if you go up to the north at all, or to the mountain areas of the U.S.,
even
just
here in Flagstaff,
it
still gets
not far.
That was one of the coldest matches of the year was in Flagstaff this year. So
and I think the Mountain West, I'm so grateful because we have gotten to see a whole new part of the country, and it's such a blessing because all of those stadiums that we played at were beautiful.
That's cool.
And just incredible temperatures, weathers, but just beautiful pitches to play on. So it was really cool. Yeah. But and the spring here, like you said, perfect. Practices these last couple of days have just been perfect weather. You can't get anything better than that. In January, too.
It's
come to GCU
in January.
I know.
Yeah, why not?
We're recruiting people right now.
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
All right,
Phoenix.
this is paid for by
GCU Athletics. Sponsored this video.
Yeah. All right, my next one for you is: would you rather hit a game-winning or match-winning PK, or hit a bicycle goal in a match that is kind of wrapped up already? You're already going to win.
Right.
But you hit a bicycle. You imagine that?
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I think both awesome. I think the PK, I got to go with PK because I feel there's just something about, it's like a free throw in basketball. This just,
sure.
The pressure's on and you just got to, score. And there's no if or but about it. I mean, a bicycle would be cool no matter if you make it or not. But the PK, I think you got to go for it. You got to make it. I think that would be cool.
And you get to embrace that moment with the team.
Exactly. Yeah, embrace it with the team.
And I'd say it's even further stretched than a free throw. I feel like free throw is almost 1-on-0 a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of you against yourself.
Yeah.
But it's
a lot of chess match
one-on-one,
right. Exactly.
mental game in a
totally.
PK. Yeah.
I'd be interested to see the percentages of free throws made versus PKs made
Yeah, totally.
Depends on who you are. If you're like,
Right.
a center.
Well, I'm saying like on average, just like
yeah, it'd be interesting.
I imagine
guess
free
it
throws
probably
probably
is.
higher, right?
I would guess.
I would think
Right.
I mean,
don't
if we're talking NBA, like if we're talking college free throws, I think it may be low key.
college ball.
Because college
ball.
guys work on your free throws teams.
Sure.
And me included, it struggles.
Well, you're a granny shot guy on your first.
Well, I am not. Shout out Rick Barry, though. He knew something before everyone else did, supposedly. So,
All right, Harp, you got one for us?
I do, and forgive me. I like to kind of stretch the boundaries of this game.
Totally.
Okay, so it's not like a true like would you rather, but like in a sense, you'll see. So I think like you're a good person to ask this because you grew up in America. Okay, you have respect for the sport you play. Okay, not only here in the States, but internationally, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally.
Largest sport in the world.
Yeah.
Not denying that.
Right.
But you also know the other football that's here in the state,
wow.
in this country. Okay, so my question very simply is, would you rather call it football or soccer? And I think your opinion is very valuable here.
I think that's a tough question. I think that I respect. Can I answer like
No, yeah.
mutually?
Elaborate.
I respect both because it's just where you live, and like how you were raised up. Like if you were raised up calling it football or football, then that's great. But if you were raised up calling it soccer, that's also great. So I think it's like you just got to stick true to what you were raised up in, Like
Okay.
I was raised up in soccer, so I'm going to say soccer. But if somebody's like football, I'm like, okay, yeah, soccer, let's go. Like same sport, awesome sport.
That was an incredible answer because one way or the other, there were people already typing on their keyboard ready to
I know.
to throw.
I put you in a hard place. I know
That
what I
was
was doing.
incredible. That was
I knew exactly what I was doing.
media trained well. Well done.
You got another one for us?
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. Would you rather play with the coolest uniforms in the world, but with the caveat of you're playing in the worst place you've ever played, or the opposite, the greatest stadium you've ever been in, but the worst uniforms you've ever worn? And now at GCU, we're blessed because we have both.
Right.
But media trained C. But in the hypothetical,
Yeah.
what would you pick?
I think I would have to go with the better stadium and the not as good uniforms. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I personally I love every uniform I've ever worn, and so I've never worn a uniform that I'm like, oh, I don't really want to wear that. Like every uniform I've worn. So I think that it's more so about I think the stadium's like really cool because I think more fans and more like students. So for like at GCU, I think like a lot of students are drawn because we have an incredible stadium. And obviously our teams are incredible, but I think sitting in a cool stadium, you're like I want to go. I want to sit there. I want to look around. So yeah, I would say stadium.
So follow up. What's the coolest stadium you played at besides GCU?
I would have to say I thought Nevada's stadium was pretty good. I think that because it was their football stadium,
Oh,
so
nice.
it was pretty legit. It was full out, and they had the big billboard or video
screen,
board,
yeah.
and they used all that for cool videography things. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So they run the same games in the football stadium?
Yes,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
was really cool.
multi-use.
Well,
That's cool.
glad both sports coming together. What a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
exactly.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, why fight when you can just do? Yeah. Well, and I was at that match,
Yep.
and let's just say the press box was about a mile away.
Because it was it way up?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So the picture taker and the press
You had
box
to
are at the
use
same
some
time.
binos?
There was a lot of steps that day for me. I think maybe as much as the players. All right, I got an interesting one for you. I found two of what I think are the most unique non-stadium soccer fields in the world. Okay, and I'm gonna have you pick between the two, and we'll show the viewers these pictures we're looking at as well. The first one is in Norway, and I want you to look at that one.
Wow, that's cool.
Whoa.
It's on a little island. Wow.
Here, take the phone so you can see it fully.
And you can speak into the mic.
I mean, that is.
This is really cool.
That's
you guys can
amazing.
pass that along.
Oh my
Pass that around.
goodness.
Right?
Heck, I don't even know how to play soccer, but man, sign me up. I'd
Right.
fly over there. Yeah.
All right, you ready for the
That's kind of a fun thing to look up. There's so many cool basketball courts around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
there's
really
just
cool too.
sports. It's
Field of Dreams.
it's a
baseball.
worldwide thing, man,
Yeah.
and especially this sport.
What do you think
right?
of that one
Yeah.
compared to the first?
Oh, I think they're different. to me,
Yeah,
it's
one's
like,
kind of in the city. This one's in Rio de Janeiro.
wow. I mean, I don't know, because one, it's like, wow, like the one that's in the middle of the ocean, like I feel like it's just like therapeutic. Like you could just go out there and with the ball and be there for hours, and it's just like therapy. And that one, it's like I want to play with like my girls and just like play in this like, super fun matchup because it's lively, it's exciting.
Sure.
But both I think are exciting and cool.
What's your answer?
Can't
Norway
choose
or
both.
Brazil?
Man.
Gotta be opinionated. here,
I
man.
know,
You
okay.
gotta pick-
Oh man, I gotta go with Norway, like the one in Norway, the one in the ocean.
I agree.
It's
That's
beautiful.
Could
scenic.
you imagine that?
Yeah.
It's
pretty cool.
beautiful. So cool.
Seems like there's probably some good fresh air there.
right, totally.
Yeah.
It's probably a little muggy and
Coming right off the
When you win a
Right.
game, you just take a dip in the ocean.
Right, you
and
just
like,
jump right in
come on.
the That's so cool.
all right. Final one.
Yeah, we're to go controversial again.
Oh.
Okay, so you probably know the two most well-known soccer players in the
Yes.
world,
I knew
Ronaldo
this
and
was
Messi.
Of course.
So my question's pretty simple, and you can take it however you wish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm thinking all-encompassing mentor. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so like ask them about life, ask them about soccer, of course. You get to spend a full day
Mm.
with either Ronaldo or Messi,
Mm-hmm.
learn from them, talk to them, conversate with them, whatever it
And
is.
then watch a game.
Huh?
And then watch them. Like, watch them play.
It like
That'd be
literally
cool.
it could be whatever
Any
you
day,
wanted.
anytime. Yeah.
If your goal was going in like how do I be the best athlete version of myself
Right.
out of the day, like who are you going to? Ronaldo or Messi?
Well, I think I first off want to say that both in their own regards are incredible. I mean,
Media trained.
they are the
Money.
best of the best for a
Money.
reason. So this is a tough question because I
Right.
feel like either way, I would be like, wow, this is an incredible experience.
Okay, but which way have you leaned?
Okay, if I'm going to lean one way, I would say I would have to go with Messi because of just his incredible story and how he got to where he is and just the way that he can, control the game, the pace of the game, and just can, accelerate when he needs to or just slow it down when he needs to. He's incredible on the ball, great finisher, just everything, all aspects, incredible. And I also think Ronaldo has a great, like, for me as a forward, like, his goal scoring ability is, like, you can't teach that. And, like, just being able to pick his brain on that is just incredible. So I think in a forward aspect, I would go with Ronaldo. But as, like, all around player, I would go with Messi.
Nice.
Cool. Good answer. Good answer.
Nice.
Sign me up for both.
I really put you in a hard place in both of them intentionally, and you did a really good job.
Stepped up to
you.
the plate.
Yeah.
Nobody's offended. Hopefully. Yeah, who knows?
She knocked it down.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, Lauren, good work.
Thank you.
You survived all those questions. I think she also made probably the right answer in most of them. I'm more of a Messi guy myself. I would say, but we want to hear your story, and we never like to ask just for your soccer journey or just for your faith journey, because at the end of the day, for student athletes that follow Christ, those things are interwoven, and I know that's the case for you. I know that recently that has really picked up for you, but if you can kind of start where you feel where it seems fit,
Right.
can you talk us through what led you to Grand Canyon, kind of your childhood and where you're at now?
Yeah, I can, of course. So I first, I was raised up knowing who Jesus Christ was, and I'm so grateful for that, in a family that, taught me about faith at a young age. And so I'm super grateful from that and just knowing him my whole life. And then I played soccer since I was little and grew up playing club soccer, traveling club soccer, all the things. And so the reason I found out about GCU is I was playing in a national event for my club team, and I met with Coach Sissel. He recruited me and we got to talking, and then he invited me on a visit.
Yep.
And I came here, and just as soon as I stepped on the campus, was like, wow, this place is incredible. And I signed and I accepted the offer that night. I was like, yes, I'm coming here for sure. And there was never a doubt in my mind that I didn't want to come here, because I was like, this is the place for me. Just from the coaching staff, the players, the school in general, and just I felt like the Lord's presence. At the time, I don't know if I necessarily knew that was the Lord's hand directing me there, but I felt like now looking back, I'm like, oh, that totally was.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I was, at that time, I was coming off of injury. So I tore my ACL end of my sophomore year of high school. And so when I got recruited, it was such a blessing. I was over my injury, and that's when I went to the national event. and I was like fresh off injury pretty much, like, like not fresh off, like I'd been, recovered for a little bit, but like was still kind of getting back into it, and just, played my game and played well, and the coaches saw me. And so I'm just grateful that all the stars aligned, because, I think going through a major injury like that, I was a little like unsure, and that was definitely some like a pivotal moment in my faith life, because it really made me stop like playing every day, like, practice, playing games, all these things, and never really having had a major injury like that before. It made me stop and really just like find other things and find like what, the essence of who I am, and things like who I am outside of soccer. So that's kind of like a moment, I would say, looking back, where I was like, the Lord really used that so well, because he developed me as a person and developed my eyes to look towards him. Because that's when the first time I was like, wow, like I need Jesus. Yeah. Like that's like the first time I think in my heart that I knew like there was something missing. And so then fast forward to like the end of my senior year, I'm committed, I'm ready to go, I'm fired up to go to GCU, and I like started noting that like I'm following the Lord and chasing him, after him, but kind of unsure of like the path to take, and still kind of putting a little bit of my idolization into soccer a little bit and focusing on that. And then I tore my ACL right before I was supposed to come in. So it was like July, or end of June going into July, and we were reporting in that first week, and I tore my ACL playing in a college league over the summer. And so that another moment was just like a eye-opening experience for me. It was like, okay, like I've put in all this time, all this effort into this sport, and that was kind of like my life, Right. And it just stopped all of a sudden, and I was like, okay, now you got to focus on rehab and all these things. And for me going into GCU, I'm like, okay, I could do one or two things. I could just, pour into just the rehab and just not like go experience like, the things around me at GCU, or, pour into my teammates, pour into the rehab, of course, and getting my knee better, but then see what else is out there. And then that's when I found FCA. That's when I found, incredible teammates and all these things, and built all those awesome friendships and relationships. And it like, again, I think looking back, like the Lord really had his hand working the entire time and writing my story, like to the essence, and like just all the beauty that he made in that was so incredible. Like something I would have never thought he would have been making or using to create beauty, he was like so intentionally. And so I'm so grateful for that, like being a part of my story, because last year really I got to pour into a lot of like the friendships of FCA. Like one of my best friends still to this day is Lauren, and I want to give her a shout out, because she truly has helped me follow the Lord and has played such an great part in my walk with the Lord, and really has walked alongside me and like given me like one of my first sisters in Christ that really just was like, we would do Bible studies together. She would, pour into me, and just we would chase after him together as friendships. And it was cool because she was on the swim team here. We met at FCA, and she unfortunately had an injury that caused her to not go to GCU anymore, but she's still like my best friend, and I miss you, Lauren.
Like every day.
Yeah, we do.
Nice.
And I went to visit her over Christmas break, which was awesome.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just things like that where it's like, okay, like not to say that if I was healthy it wouldn't have happened, but who knows, like if I came in and it was just soccer right off the bat, if I would have had that same opportunity to build those friendships. But then on top of that, I would say also getting to like be with my teammates and to pour more energy into that. Like on the sidelines, it was tough for sure, like not being able to participate in the sport that I love with my teammates, but it gave me a new perspective of like, okay, like this is such a blessing that I'm here and that I'm able to play this sport, and not to take advantage of that, or to take advantage of that, but not to not recognize the significance of that, of like the Lord's blessing. And so I think it allowed me to create great friendships and bonds and just like super great friendships that I take with me now into this season where I was able to play and be healthy. And just there's just so much more joy when you realize that like I'm not playing for myself. I'm not playing for my own glory. I'm not playing for just like the outcomes and rewards of it that maybe I was before I like really started walking with the Lord. Now it's like, okay, how can I share the good news with my teammates? How can I share that with those that come watch the games? Like that's the mission. And I think that for me that really flipped my perspective. And I think that it really just put more of an eternal perspective than like a now perspective on it, know?
So a couple things, like I absolutely have seen that in you. And one of the things I was going to say is like, I know that had to give you a sense of greater gratitude for the sport.
Totally.
It allows you to come into it like this year when you're healthy
Yes.
with a greater level of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I was going to say is I think you and I like met pretty quickly after you got that second ACL.
Yes.
Was it the same knee, by the way?
It was a different knee.
Different
opposite
knees.
knee. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even it out.
that was, yeah, right. So that was this following summer, okay, or 2 summers ago.
Yep.
I was here like training for a little bit, but we would interact with each other
Yes.
in the LPC.
Yes, totally.
And that's when we got to know each other a little bit before the school year started in
Yeah.
FCA. But one of the things I was going to say is like you had mentioned you had a choice. Like you could either like kind of be sorrow about it, like kind of sit in that misery and choose to be bitter.
Right.
Or you could choose to be joyful
Right.
and pour in your teammates
Right.
and like look around. Like you said, see the other things out there, see where the Lord has placed in front of you. And like,
Right.
I'll just say like barely knowing you at the time, but now getting to know you a little bit more, like it was so evident. Like your heart was in FCA with Lauren,
Yes.
with all those other
Yeah.
those other friends,
Yeah.
like team. That's
Yeah.
where team
Yeah,
originated.
that's where it
So
came from.
her and Lauren, the Lauren squared, they
Yep,
had this
yep.
thing called team. They just always did team. Like I swear we would hear it like 30 times a day or
Yeah.
something.
But it started with my own teammates. It was like, so Ani Jensen, shout out Ani Jensen,
Ani.
miss you.
Yeah.
But she started team. But it's like cool because it was like one of those things where it was like, it just grouped everyone together. Like,
Sure.
this is a side note, but I thought that was cool because it's like, we're all on the same team. If you think about it, we're all God's children. So it's like, hey,
Ooh.
like we are
Nice.
team. You're all team. So it's
What
cool.
up, team? Yeah.
Just want to say that. That was
I
awesome.
remember.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
mean,
Harper.
probably a little bit after that. Lauren's freshman year was my first year working with the team as well. So I was getting to know everybody as well. And for some reason, the girl with the torn ACL was probably the most joyful and happy person to be at every match.
Yeah. Right.
That first year, and so it was pretty obvious. I mean, you were just wanted to say hi to everybody. You wanted to see how everybody was doing. You were very intentional. So I think when the Lord really started to tug on your heart, it was just such an easy thing for you to do because you already showed, you already reflected the Lord by your actions before you maybe even really fully knew Him. So now I think it's just like such a superpower that you have that I think you're at that place where you do fully know Him. Can you explain how? Because I do think, unfortunately, the Lord decided to maybe allow. I don't know if He allows injuries. You know, we always talk about different things, but
Yeah.
for some reason you were supposed to be in a different arena for that year, and that arena was growing your faith and meeting community, and building up some bold courage to tell your teammates about Him in a way that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do if you hadn't gone through that.
Totally.
But then you move into year 2, and I see another flip of a switch where you're leading your team in prayer almost every day. You're leading team Bible studies on the road. What was that switch that was made in that year for you? And also, you got baptized in this last season as well.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So what's that switch, and where'd that jump come from? What happened?
Well, I would say the switch, I don't know like if there was a specific moment, but over the summer I went to FCA camp, which was such a blessing, and Harp was there. Yep. And I think so I led like a small group of girls, and we went out and we played soccer with them, and we did huddles, which is like small group, talking about the Lord and going through different devotionals and that kind of stuff, and really just like being vulnerable with each other. And I had never led a small group like that. I had never gone to an FCA camp like that, and so I was kind of put into this spot where I was like, Lord, I need you, and I'm just gonna rely on you and let give me the words to speak, open hands, like I'm your servant, Lord, whatever you have. And so that camp was a lot of surrender for me. And I think it was just incredible, like the way that when you come in and you're surrendering, like I saw it in so many other leaders and so many other little kids that were at the camp. And just like when people came in and they were just like, Lord, whatever you have for me, like do unto me according to your will, He did incredible things. And so I think that to me was like a moment where I was like, wow, like really, if I give Him everything and I just let Him take control, He will do whatever is in His will, and He will do good things. And so I think one night specifically, it was we were in a chapel night, and that was the moment where I was feeling all the emotions so incredibly, and just like really felt His presence like at the most I've ever felt it before, and just saw His glory. And I was just like, wow, like Lord, like this, like, I want to live my life for you. And like, there's no mistaking it. Like, I want to be your servant in everything that I do, and I want to give my life to you. And so in that moment, I ran up to Kelly, who is amazing. Hey, Kelly. But she is a goat. She's like the head of our FCA here. And I ran up to her and I was like, Kelly, I want to get baptized. She's like, okay, we're going to do this. And so fast forward, I ended up getting baptized September 5th after our game. And it was incredible. But I think the switch with all that was that I was like, this season, I was like, Lord, just whatever you have for me, you know, I will be your servant. And like, I want to come into every day with open hands, every practice, open hands. And I want to look around and be present where I'm at and look to see who can I serve on my team, and, you know, just build your kingdom on my team the best that I can, or those around me. And so I think that was the switch. It was like, okay, here's a season, and like, that's what I want to do. I want to glorify the Lord and whatever he has in store. That's awesome. But yeah, so.
Yeah,
amazing.
It is. It's amazing how, you know, an injury like that, like, well, of course, like that, it stinks. Like, let's, you know, be honest, right? But how, when it's surrendered to the Lord, it can be, I mean, the catalyst for huge growth, right? And like, you know, of course it's uncomfortable. And I think a lot of times, you know, when we're growing, it is uncomfortable, you know, in whatever season of life. And, you know, just being in a fallen and broken world, everybody has their own struggles, but I think you're a great example of inviting the Lord into that and letting him move through it. You know, kind of seeing Romans 8:28 come to life. You know, it's really cool. And there's countless stories and, you know, of people. I know us three sitting at the table as well that have had those moments. And then you hold on to those, right? And it's like, now the next time there's a trial, the next time there's a hardship, you know, you have that to back on of hey, like, the Lord carried me through this. Totally. And so I know he's got me through this, you know? And so I think that's just I admire that heart posture a lot. And I think, like, you know, certainly that's something we all can, I know it can be easy to kind of get in the mindset of being frustrated, right? Of, I mean, you had every right to, right? You just tore another ACL, and it's like, oh man, like, what timing is that, you know? But you chose to look at it from a lens of God, what are you teaching me? Yeah. You know, and I think, like I said, just in this world where there's so much brokenness, so much hardship, and we all have our own battles, but it's like, how do we invite the Lord in and really let him teach us something and mold us and shape us into the men and women he's called us to be?
I love that.
So good.
You've mentioned a couple things about FCA now, okay, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You got to speak this past semester. That was super cool. Like, obviously, I knew parts of your story, but I heard a little bit more. And even tonight, we're getting to some of those other parts. Kind of like the FCA camp. How is speaking at FCA another way you grow in your faith? Like, what has that done to you since?
I think that it really, again, it was a give up of control for me, because, you know, public speaking, like, I like to talk to people, but like, when I get up in front of a crowd, I'm like, I get a little nervous. And so I think going into it, I was like, Lord, like, I'm, you know, nervous. Like, I don't know, like, you know, what do you want me to speak about? There's all these incredible things that, like, I could get in the word, and there's so many stories that you could go over. But I was just like, Lord, like, whatever you want me to speak about, like, Lord, give me the words to speak that would best reflect you and reach hearts, you know? And I think that really, like, when I got to speak in front of our FCA, it really taught me to share your testimony, because, like, the Lord has given you a unique testimony for a reason. He's written your story, and it's cool because when you share your testimony, you're talking about the author, and it goes back to the author that's writing your story, and you're just giving people more of an example to get to know him. And so I think, like, and I think the same thing about every single one of the people's testimonies that share in FCA, just around the world. I'm just like, I want to hear as many testimonies as I can, because it's like, it's all talking about our author. And it's all even more pieces to the puzzle that we get to learn about who our God is, which we won't fully get to know who he is until we get to heaven. But, you know, getting to know as much as we can on this side is just so cool. So yeah.
And that's one of the coolest things about what we're doing here, I feel like, is us three, we come in every episode and hear another guest share another amazing story about God's goodness from all across the world, the country, you name it, like, through injuries, through comebacks, whatever it may be. Like, I mean, the Lord, he's worked in just mighty, mighty ways. And, like, I know we're all blessed to be able to experience that and hear testimonies on this.
And going off that, like, you mentioned God's character, like, all of our stories are different, unique to us. Like they're interwoven in our upbringing, whatever, our sport. But like through them all, you see God's character, and he's consistent. Like we know he's the same yesterday, today, forever. We know he's unchanging. We know he's that solid rock we can place our life on, because even through all of our stories and the different variables, like it's still the same loving God, forgiving God, patient God. And just like, it's so encouraging. Like that's the word that always comes to mind. Like it's so encouraging to hear you share your story than many other people. Same with FCA. Like God's so good.
So good.
I love what you're saying about pointing up to the author.
Yeah, and for the non-believer that hears one testimony, sometimes that's all it takes, right? But man, when you can start stacking testimonies and you start realizing there is a consistency to this Lord that they're talking about, that's when real life change happens. And we can never be the person to make someone believe. A testimony but might start spinning the cycles a bit though, right? And I think it's one of our biggest weapons that we have, and that the Lord not only writes but provides for us. And when he makes it clear that he is the author in our lives, how lucky are we? You know,
totally.
So sharing our testimony, just such an important thing. I want to ask you, soccer's tough, right? Training's hard. Once you're in season, the season's tough. You're on the road. You're going to different places. You're balancing school. When you do attack those Bible studies that you guys do throughout the year, and I know you've had the ability to help lead those. What is your intention, and how do you attack that, especially with some players that maybe are new and interested in learning why Lauren's so happy every day? Like what is it about her? Or maybe they're walking alongside you, or maybe they've never heard or read the Bible before. How do you attack that as a younger player on the team, which I think is probably the most impressive and coolest part about you leading those studies?
Well, I would say first, Kelly has done an incredible job. So this past semester, she was really awesome for our team and helped lead some of our like individual team Bible studies. And she was incredible, just, teaching all of us. Like girls came with a million questions, and just like, it was just awesome to see, because you meet people where they're at. And I think that's the coolest thing about a Bible study. And I think like what I've come to find is that, like, especially like being with your teammates that you're around all the time, and you get to know them as people and just get to learn about their lives. And then you open the word together and you're like, wow, like this is so cool. Like I get to know you as a person, and then we get to talk about Jesus together. And like we get to, bounce questions off each other and just learn more about him together. And so I think last week we had our team Bible study, and I came into it kind of just was like, open to what the girls kind of wanted. And I was like, what are we looking for, kind of thing. And so the first one, it was just kind of, we went through Luke 12. We went through Luke 12, and we were just talking about heart. We were talking about the heart, and just kind of coming into this season and identifying who our Lord is and who we're idolizing at this time, and if it's the Lord, our Lord and Savior, or if it's soccer, if we're putting soccer above him. And we just broke down all these different verses, and we were breaking them down and like reflecting that with each other's lives and just answering questions. And it's cool because like when you are just talking with people that you love, that you have these friendships with, it just flows naturally, and the Lord just comes in that space and just works beautifully. And it's because there's like a trust there. It's like, okay, I can ask these questions because I trust you and I love you and I know you as a player, I know you as a person. And so like, let's talk about it. And I think that's such a blessing, is like being on teams in college athletics. It's such an opportunity. It's such an incredible opportunity to share the word, because you're with these people, you're grinding with these people, you're working hard, and now you get to share the word with them. And, on the road, like we got to share the word together, and like, that's just so incredible. It's just all pointing it back to eternity.
Yeah. And I think that's such a cool thing about the student athlete experience, because like you're mentioning, like you're doing life together, like on the bus rides, the airplanes, practices, classes, the walks, like all of it, the walks in between, the meals. And there's a lot of like cool relationship building time. But I know, like kind of swinging back to Kelly, like she has always been such a practical mentor, and saying like, there's times in those, those daily moments with your teammates where you can just ask them about their life and ask them about who they are, their upbringing, their parents. And then, somewhere in there, it's so natural to bring up Jesus and to bring up like parts of your story. And I think that's really like one of the strengths that the Lord's given us. It's not that we have to push it down their throat. It's like, if we're just genuinely doing life with someone, it's going to flow out naturally, because that is the biggest sermon we're preaching. Like it's our life. It's not this forced, in John 3,
Yes.
although that sometimes works.
Right.
And there's places for that. I think with teammates especially, it's just getting to know them
Yeah.
and showing them you're going to meet them where they're at.
Yeah, meeting them where they're at and walking alongside them and encouraging them and giving them a safe space where they can ask questions and not feel I don't know if I can ask this, but just hey, I love you and let's walk together, let's walk alongside each other.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, even I think the enemy will often try to make it to where talking about Jesus feels weird, right? Or feels uncomfortable. But if that's a part of daily routine, I feel like that kind of breaks the stigma. And then maybe, freshmen or people new to the team are kind of okay, this is normal around here. This is something that's invited and actually welcomed. And maybe from other colleges, maybe that wasn't the case. But I think creating that culture and environment is really cool and something that GCU has that, I would think is even a competitive advantage, right? As far as being closer to your teammates, knowing who you're playing with inside and out. And, I think that's just would you agree as far as the competitive?
No, totally.
Yeah.
I think so. I think getting to know the girls' hearts that you're on the field with and knowing them outside the field, it makes you just naturally want to just work even harder for them and work together and just support each other. Because we are in a sport where we need all 11 girls to work together at the same time. And everything needs to be clicking for it to, create a beautiful masterpiece. And so you can't really create a masterpiece if, some aren't bought in. And when you're all getting to know each other and loving each other, it's everyone's bought in. It's awesome. And I think we do a really great job of that here. We really do.
Plug soccer.
Yeah.
I think, Marcus Vaughn, a former podcast guest of ours, he mentioned this in a get-together recently, just about how, the transfer portal, okay? There's a lot of guys coming in and out every year. Same with every other sport in any college at this point. It doesn't really matter. It's happening.
Right.
And he mentioned the how scary it might be having those new guys coming in, but also the excitement and the opportunity to meet new people and pour into new people. How do you balance that? Because it's every semester you're pretty much you might lose a couple friends to the portal. You might bring in new girls that you never even realized might end up being one of your best friends.
Right.
But on the faith aspect specifically, how do you get to know them and pour into them, and what is your philosophy there? Obviously, you guys have an amazing culture. It's going to be a bit easier for you guys to do that, but how do you balance that? Because it keeps you on your feet for sure.
Totally. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have a philosophy. More just so just taking each girl for who they are. And like I said, just building those friendships, being intentional, just taking each day as an opportunity to talk to someone or, ask questions about their life and just getting to know them first. And then I think that Jesus comes in with that. It's making that relationship so it's comfortable and it's a safe space. And then you bring in Jesus and you invite him into it. And I think that naturally that happens, it creates a space where it's just comfortable and you could just talk about your faith and it's awesome.
And I think there's an aspect of, you're not looking down upon them.
Totally.
You're not holier than thou. It's
Totally.
oh, if they're asking me about their life, they're genuinely curious.
Totally.
And I know we've mentioned it plenty of times in FCA. It's and on the flip, if they ask you a question you don't know, I think one of the most powerful things we can do is say, I don't know.
Yes, totally.
Because then then it breaks down the stigma of, oh, Christians have all the answers. They know it all. They're preachy. They're just going to talk down to me rather than, oh, we don't know. We're going to walk through this together.
Right, totally.
We're going to do life together. And I think it's really powerful.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've had tons of conversations with my teammates and I was just I actually don't sometimes I'm I don't know. I'm sorry. Or, if I don't know for sure, I'm wait, let me go see if I can find it really quick.
Sure.
Open the word. I think it's around here, but it's nothing because it's not my own words. It's the truth. It's the written truth. It's from him. And I don't know all. I definitely won't know all. So, just reminding them of that too. It's hey, we're all human.
Yeah. I think kind of going back to something you said earlier of meeting people where they are. I think there's just so much power there. I mean, I think we literally saw Jesus do that, right? Come down and be a human. And so now he met us with where we were, and to be able to relate. And he came, to these, the well, right? All these places, houses, right? He met us right where we are. And I think that's just so powerful. And And in today's world, it's this. I think we have the same call to meet people where they are, wherever that is, and I think there's power in that because it's not just, hey, kind of this almost sales pitch aspect. It's more like, I want to be in this with you,
Right.
And I think that there's just so much power there. And I think that's something that we can all take away for sure, is just meeting people where they are.
And that's intentional, right? And I think in this day and age, maybe it's technology. I think that might be a big thing that has to do with it. But just asking someone how they're doing is not really normal anymore. Right. And that sticks out, and that impacts. And just having conversations is huge. And I think we all know that in our lives. Not everybody has that. Not everybody's really even comfortable with that anymore because it just doesn't happen. Right. So to step up and have a conversation and break somebody out of their comfort zone, that can really impact people.
Totally.
Yeah. All right, guys. We are coming up near the end of this episode. I do want to ask you a question I like to ask. What is God doing in your life right now? I guess, is there something, if you'd be willing to share, that you feel like you might be walking through this season right now, that something he might be challenging you with? If there's something that comes to mind, I'd love to hear it, because it is cool to see how God's working.
Man, I think there's so many things that he's teaching me. But I would say just like being like extremely present. Like, I think sometimes I often like get ahead of myself and I, think about the next thing that I have on my plate. But I think just being present and where I'm at and, looking around me. And Marcus Vaughn brought up yesterday at FCA the JOY acronym, and it's Jesus, others, and yourself. And he's like, if you're living with the joy, then like the joy will just naturally come to you. But it's also like living for Jesus first, and then living for the others around you, and then yourself. And I think that's something that the Lord's been teaching me, like, just not, like thinking about like, okay, for example, like soccer play, like, oh, like I could have taken this shot or that shot, but instead like turning around and like looking around and seeing my teammates like, oh, hey, like go talk to this person, or go, grab this set of gear or whatever. But just like little things like that, of just like taking my eyes off myself and fixating them on him and then onto those around me. And I think that's something he's been teaching me. So it's been cool.
It's so cool. I think I saw like a study couple months ago that said, on average, people, like 85% of their thoughts are about themselves.
Totally.
And like you look at our country and really our world for that matter, and the problems of like depression, anxiety, worry, stress, just like all of it. And I think we spend, like, we're all guilty of this. I know I'm sure guilty. Like, we've all spent so much time looking inward when Jesus and his kingdom was all about the outward. It's all about pouring into others. Being filled up is important, yes, but once you are filled up, you're called to pour it out. And I think it's not only are we called to do that, but like you're saying, it's not like it's this far thing. We just look for it. Right. I do believe the harvest is plentiful wherever you look. Right. Like, there's hearts that need it. Right. There's people who are broken and going through things. And it's like, really, like, he's called us to be the messengers, to go out and tell them. And it's not as far as we think. It's there. Right. We just got to be willing to look and ask the Lord for the strength.
Totally. Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, we are going through the spring season next, right? This last fall, you got back into game action. What are you looking forward to with this spring? Really, probably truly feeling like yourself now, I would imagine, and then moving into your, I guess it's your third year. Is it maybe your redshirt sophomore year next fall? Like that. But how do you feel? Like, what's the excitement levels, and how are you feeling as you move into this next season?
I'm excited. I think, like, that was my first season, getting to play here. And I think now that I'm, kind of broken the ice and I feel comfortable, just, playing in that comfort and in excitement and seeing what the Lord has to bring. And I think, like, going into it with a new, like, mindset, of just like bringing him even more. And whether that looks like on the field, off the field, whatever that looks like, just, going into it with just excitement and just some energy. And spring season's awesome. And, just continuing to build those friendships on the field, off the field, and just play some more footy.
Awesome.
One thing I want to mention just real quick, that like Kelly literally mentioned this to you in front of the rest of the leadership meeting a few weeks ago. And like, I just think like the viewers and people, like, after you told your story, like, you need to hear this as well. It's just like, you have such a gift of like gathering people together. And like, of course, like we had mentioned it, like it kind of goes hand to hand with your personality, like being joyful, being bright. but like you do always like throw stuff in the chat, like churn. Like she would always throw churn ice cream in the group chat last
Like
year.
the best ice cream ever in
Yeah.
Phoenix.
But it's like I do think like that is a spiritual gift you've been given, like bringing people together for the Lord, and I just want to shout that out.
Thank you, Harper.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And your joy radiates. So
Thank you.
keep spreading the joy. I mean, that's what it's all about. And I mean, that's what we're here for, you know.
Well, thanks for coming on and telling your story.
Thanks, you guys, for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and we appreciate you. We're excited that you're going to be on campus for a couple more years.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hopes up.
Hopes up.
Come on.
to all the viewers, thank you so much for sticking around, watching this episode. Thank you to Churn for sponsoring today's video. And
Seriously,
That'd be
though,
awesome.
we'll take all
That would
business
be
inquiries.
awesome. Yeah. Hit us up.
NIL. All right.
Right,
Well,
right.
thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you next time. Episode 50 with... Who's next?
Mac Nolan, Mackenzie Nolan.
There we go. All right. We'll see you guys next time.